everyone, welcome to World Digest with me, Angela Kufuor. Now let's look at events unfolding in the White House as the Biden-Harris administration plans to send every dollar they can to Ukraine before the clock runs out on their administration. Why this urgency? Is it a strategic move or a desperate political gamble before a Trump presidency? Let's unpack the controversy. In a meeting with European security officials to discuss support for Ukraine in Brussels, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the Biden administration is working to send as much military aid as possible to Ukraine while it still can before President-elect Donald Trump, who has promised to end the Ukraine-Russia war and questioned the amount of U.S. aid sent to Ukraine takes on office in January 2025. To understand why the Biden administration is urgently pushing for aid in Ukraine, we have to go back to the origins of U.S.-Ukraine relations. Since Ukraine gained independence after the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, the United States has played a role in supporting its sovereignty and democratic development. However, the relationship grew in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, triggering the first waves of conflict in eastern Ukraine. The U.S. under the Obama administration began ramping up military and economic support for Ukraine to resist Russian aggression, something the Biden administration continued when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. Since 2022, when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the Biden-Harris administration has provided billions in military aid, advanced weapons, and financial assistance amounting to at least $174 billion to help Ukraine hold the line against Russian forces. It is a matter of defending democracy, according to Biden and his allies. But why is America spending $174 billion of taxpayers' money to protect Ukraine? At its core, the U.S. aid to Ukraine is about far more than just charity. It's about geopolitics. Ukraine is seen as a key buffer between Russia and the West. A strong and independent Ukraine helps keep Russia's expansionist ambitions in check and protects Eastern Europe's fragile balance of power. Now, with a new Trump administration looming on the horizon, the Biden administration has announced plans to send every dollar possible to Ukraine. Why the sudden urgency? Donald Trump has made it no secret his criticism of the amount of aid being sent to Ukraine by the Biden administration. He claims the war would not have begun were he in office in 2022 and has said he could end the war before he takes office in January, citing his good relationship with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. I
think Zelensky is maybe the greatest salesman of any politician that's ever lived. Every time he comes to our country, he walks away with $60 billion. And I like him. You know, on the impeachment hoax #1, he was very good. He said, no, the president didn't threaten me at all. He could have been a grandstander and said, I was threatened, right, Matt? He could have said, I was threatened. So I like him. But he's the greatest salesman of all time. He walks in. So now here's the beauty. He just left 4 days ago with $60 billion, and he gets home and he announces that he needs another $60 billion, else it never ends. It never ends. I will have that settled prior to taking the White House as president-elect. I will have that settled.
The last-minute decision to rush aid to Ukraine is far from uncontroversial. Critics argue that Biden's rush aid packages are politically motivated and a deliberate attempt to box in a future Trump administration, making it difficult to reverse course without appearing unsupportive of Ukraine. Trump supporters and Republicans see it as a reckless spending, sending billions abroad while there are pressing needs at home, like infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Now the question is, what will happen to the US relationship with Ukraine and NATO when Trump does take office? Trump has consistently questioned NATO's relevance, criticized European allies for not pulling their weight, and hinted that the US shouldn't be the world's policeman. Does this mean he will leave Ukraine to fend for itself? Many Ukrainian officials are concerned their fight against Russia could falter without US aid. How do the world and Russia view the last-minute Joe Biden rush aid to Ukraine? If Biden succeeds in sending billions more, it could strain US-Russian relations even further and push Moscow into the arms of countries like China and Iran. What is the bigger picture here? Biden's administration rush to send aid to Ukraine before Trump resumes office isn't just about protecting democracy. It is also about legacy. Biden wants to cement his administration stance as a defender of democracy, even if it means spending American taxpayers' money in ways that could have a long-term consequences. The timing is strategic and aimed at Donald Trump, daring him to change course when he takes office on January 20th. One thing is for sure, the next few months will be very critical for Ukraine, the US, and the entire global balance of power. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is this the right move, or is just another example of political gamesmanship?